let's talk about the world of fantasy and scale. One of the things that I love about the world that George R. R. Martin created in as far as Westeros goes, and everywhere else outside, all other places that he created, there's a giant map that comes with the whole world of Westeros. A giant map. And it takes a very long place to get from one place to another place. It takes a lot of episodes. Sometimes it might take a whole season. You know what I'm saying? When somebody is traveling. And that creates pacing. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of things that can happen along the way. For instance, on Arya trying to get back to the north with the Hound. How many seasons did we go through with them traveling together? Even though she never made it to the north, like she went and decided to go be a facer's man, like it took a long time. Even in the beginning, when they was leaving from Winterfell and headed to King's Landing, I believe in the books that was like a month worth of travel or something like that. It was something like that. Don't give me the line. Don't get me the line now. But it took time. And I'm bringing this up because Rings of Power. I know y'all are tired of me beating down that door. But it has no pacing and it has no scale, none. Like even with the people, like it's not just distance, it's the people, and I just be really upset and really confused because it's like I know once again that they spent $1 billion on this series with Amazon Prime, $1 billion, and I don't know where the $1 billion went. Like some of the set pieces look nice. I know they put creatures in there that probably shouldn't be in this age or shouldn't be showing up in this age, but I'm guessing that's where they spent all the money because the scale isn't really big. Like we have yet to see Gil Galad. I don't know if I ever say his name right. We have yet to see his kingdom. Like we've seen his kingdom in a way, but we've never seen like the scope and the scale of his castle. Like he's the High King. Where is the regalness? Where is the dope kingdom that is? We don't see it. We don't see it. Even I think we see it with Aragon. We kind of see it with Aragon, but even with that, like we only ever see like what 20, 30 elves at a time. Like even with Gil-galad, like when we're with Gil-galad, like we see maybe 30 elves at most. Like. Where's the cities? Where's the armies of people? Like where are they? Like the elves aren't almost extinct like they are in the Third Age during the Lord of the Rings. During the Lord of the Rings, they didn't have huge armies because it wasn't many elves left in Middle Earth. They were leaving. Now they began leaving in the Second Age, but just imagine if you have the Second Age and the Third Age, and this is like 3, 4, 5,000 years worth of elves slowly leaving Middle Earth. Like it late in the Third Age, there are more elves than there are in the Second. Like I'm confused. Even with the humans, like what did they say? Called what's the name? Lord of Pelagier. Like, man, it's like 40 niggas out here, man. What is you talking about? Like, Lord of what? How can you be the Lord of anything? It's only 40 of y'all. It's not enough to do anything. You can't even call yourself a town or a city. Not even a small village. Like you, I don't know what you can be considered. You're a band of people. A band of people. The orcs, I can say we've seen more orcs huddled and bundled together than anything else. Maybe even when they was with the dwarves, we've seen more people. Like I said, the scale isn't big. Like it doesn't take long to travel to anywhere. And then when you get places, it's like it's not that many people around. It's not much to see. Like Numenor looks great. That's the only one that looks great. But even like you just don't get a lot to see around Numenor. Like you're rarely there. I'm gonna tell you what has scale and what has scope. That has more than this. Spartacus Blood and Sand, whose budget was way smaller. I didn't watch the TV series Spartacus and think, dang, it's only like 5 people in this scene, in this city. Like where are all the city folk? I never watched Spartacus when they went to the city and won it there. I didn't watch that. When they had their tournaments, I didn't look in the crowd and be like, whoa, it's only like 18 people out here fighting. Like I didn't do that while watching Spartacus. But this $1 billion series, yes. Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Wheel of Time. I gotta throw Wheel of Time in this, but I don't hate the Wheel of Time series. I don't hate it. But I like the books a lot, but I'm not as big a fan of the books as some people are. Like it's some really I have issues with the Wheel of Time. But I will say this: the big issue with Wheel of Time is how they gender bend some stuff, and they nerf a lot of the stuff as far as the men go, and give some of those feats to Nynaeve, and you know, they do that. But outside of that, the show just really isn't that bad. Like, the writing isn't horrible. It's just that they kind of took some storylines and moved them around and kind of nerfed some people. That's the issue with Wheel of Time. Like, the writing for Wheel of Power, I mean, not Wheel of Power, but Rings of Power is bad. Like, the writing, the wording, and their constant need to show you that it's connected to Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't need to, they previewed it, but I don't need to see the dwarves tell the Balrog, you shall not pass, because Gandalf said it 4,000 years later. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need you guys to try to come up with clever sayings to explain life because they did it in Lord of the Rings. Your writing is not the same as Tolkien's. It's not equal. You're not that good at it. That's the same issue I had with the last couple of seasons of Game of Thrones. Once they went past George R. R. Martin books, they didn't know how to write Tyrion's cleverness. They didn't know how to write his wit, his quirks. They didn't know how to do it. They tried. It fell flat. That's how I feel with Ring of Time. One who shall look shall surely find. They used to call me Tom Bombadil. Trash. Big trash. But yeah, this wasn't about none of that. This was about scope and scale. Like I said, it don't take long to get anywhere like these. The orcs literally walked from Mordor to Eregion like that. You know what I'm talking about? Even with the elves coming from Linden. Like, Linden, it didn't take that long to get from Linden to Eregion. And then you get into this thing with the Barrow Wights, which I stated in my last video is weird because the Barrow Wights were created by the Witch King of Angmar. You know what I'm saying? Who was killed by Éowyn, who could only be killed by a woman. They were created by him. And they were from the fallen kingdoms, or the fallen miniature kingdoms from the northern kingdom of the Numenarians, when they landed on land with Gondor and Anor. But so they won't exist for another 4,000 years. Like, but anyway, when they are walking and they're headed to Eregion, like, you walk through this space where they have the Barrow Wights, you could have went around. You could have easily went around. You didn't have to walk through this small little thing. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to. And why would the elves leave these Barrow Wights? It's just a lot to me. This is my latest video complaining about Rings of Power. Junior.